A book review, A Brief History of Humankind, Sapiens, by somebody Noah, Yen of Noah or something. Bought it on Audible, and I listen to it at night, and then I fall asleep, and then I wake up, and it's about 3 chapters on and along, and I listen to a bit of that. So it's very random. And then the next night I put it back to roughly where I was and try and listen to it again. So I'm dipping in and out of the book at random in the end. And book review, Homo Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. And my overall sense of it so far is... looking for the negatives, of course, is that it's a little instructive for me. Like when I speak history, I am almost asking the question, is this the way it went down? And is that the way it went down? Whereas he tends to, I think, say this is the way it went down. He's selling millions of books, and I wouldn't even be able to sell one. His way is more entertaining. So, a big plus for him there. The other thing that has been my impression so far, I've heard some podcasts discussing history, and I kind of have liked the style of those a little bit better. They're a little bit more in the direction of the way I like to hear history and speak history. You know, is this the way it went down? Here are all the, wouldn't it be funny if it went down this way? And look, it's a bit more airy-fairy, learning history that way or thinking about history. History isn't something to be learned, is my sort of take on history. It's something to be discussed. I'm not sure it's something that you can teach. I think it's something that's a discussion point. It's something you debate. I wouldn't want to learn history. I want to have a chat about it. You know what I think? History is something you have a chat about. You know? And you kind of chat about all the possible histories there are relating to a single event, a given event. One I like is Solomon and Sheba. And I like to get down to Footscray and hit the bars, and all the boys are down there. No girls. The times I've been down there, really, where I've been, that's funny. And listen to a few histories relating to Solomon and Sheba. And this bloke is saying this is the way it went down, I reckon. And this bloke's saying this is the way it went down. And this other bloke says they didn't even exist. There's no such person as Sheba in history. It's a myth. And you get all those blokes in a circle and you say, all right, let's talk about all the different histories relating to Solomon and Sheba, But this guy, Noah and his Ark, who has written this book, and it has got a little bit of a biblical feel to it, too. I think that kind of annoys me, too. The guy is socially constructed into a biblical kind of framework, and maybe the clue is in his name. His name's Noah. So one chapter is called The Flood. And what you're doing is you're looking at history through his examples tend to be against biblical examples, and he goes, he says, maybe he says somewhere in there, I haven't heard this yet, but compared to, the story of Adam and Eve is really wrong, we go back a lot further than that and all that sort of stuff. But now that's all right, he's not saying, I'm going to give you the biblical version. He's saying I'm going to give you the opposite of the biblical version, but the reference point is still the Bible. Now, what relevance? I don't even want to hear about the Bible. You know, I do, but not any more than I want to hear about Indigenous Australians. Or so. He does talk about Indigenous Australians, but I just get this feeling that he's talking about history from the perspective of someone who is socially constructed and coded into the biblical version of history, you know, and a Western version of history, and you know, and that influences a little bit the tone of the whole thing. You know, it becomes a comparison point, even if he is saying it didn't go down like the Bible says it's going down. And I've got to go now. Got to go and help someone with their homework. So, what was the other thing I was thinking? Quick. Text just came through. For and he overcooks some things. In trying to say how agriculture sent us backwards, he kind of painted a too rosy picture, I think, of the way it was before agriculture. You know, life before agriculture as hunters and gatherers. He kind of said that was all lovely and rosy. Not completely. He did say it was brutal and all that sort of stuff, but he said, and then then it got a hell of a lot worse. But I'm not convinced of that. You know, I'd like to discuss that with him. End of episode.